guys, and welcome to another Khan Academy knockoff video with Professor CJ.
And Professor Nick, and today we'll be discussing quite an exquisite piece.
Yes, quite exquisite.
That is a portrait of Sukju, a nobleman made in Joseon Dynasty, 1392 to 1910. In Korea, Sukju was a nobleman, politician, alive from 1470 to 1475.
Yes, it is quite common to see politicians painted during the Joseon Dynasty, as there was even a Royal Bureau of Painting where artists were hired by the government to paint officials.
Yes, and here in this painting, it was created to honor and worship the subjects. You can tell by the symbolism or iconography that this man was quite revered. His rank badges on his chest were made to indicate the rank of officials, that memorabilia, that sort of insignia,
Shows the
that
power of an individual.
Gold shows his power, of course, and in Korean culture, the peacock symbolizes authority, and many people in Korean authority would have this peacock insignia on their chest.
Indeed, it's almost as powerful as how much this piece shows the cultural connections to the culture of Korea at that time.
In relation to China, in which they both believed in honoring and memorialization, a sort of
Almost ancestral worship.
yes, indeed, ancestral worship of their ancestors that went forward, went wherever they have gone into the future. Their memorialization sticks together in these cultures.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and these paintings, these sort of portraits would be found in family shrines and hung up for families to honor and worship and look up to. And not only this, but
The nature in which the sort of subtleties of the piece, the golden insignia on the chest of Sukju, the birds, the clouds attached to it, that reflects a sort of honoring, a sort of reverence attached to him.
The solemn face that Sukju has reflects the wisdom and the authority that is so important to these cultures. You can tell that the artist has added lines to show wrinkles, to show that Sukju has gone through some things and has gained wisdom through them.
and also in context to the painting, more on to the reflection of Korean culture. They very much so believed in loyalty as much as in the importance of ancestors. Yes, this painting was of Sukju because he was loyal.
They wanted to show that Sukju was a man of great valor, that he must be remembered for his commitment to the king, to
He was
Korea.
very loyal to the emperor, and he is honored for this in this painting. But this painting could not be made by Korean culture alone. There had to be cross-cultural connections, as seen by the use of silk in this painting. Yes, the silk came from China.
The Silk Road.
From the Silk Road trade had to be used.
Chinese connections, distinctions in painting, the way the materials were utilized.
Only that, but the belief itself in family worship and family honor and authority, and the belief in honoring authority had to come from China. This belief is reminiscent of Confucianism, and this Confucianism and their ideals had come from China and spread through the Silk Road and through trade.
Yes, it's a very reminiscent of a certain art piece.
Head of a Roman patrician,
Yes,
yes.
specifically. Very similar in theme.
The themes, the political power, the prowess, the commemoration of such figures in both Sukju and Head of Roman patrician.
Yes.
Head of Roman patrician was a marble bust similar to the portrait, as it was a kind of picture to what this person had looked like in real life. And the Roman patrician was a politician. This bust was made during the Republican era during Roman times. It was around 75 to 50 BCE when this was made, and the Roman patrician was a noble person of high authority, as many elders were. of authority and in government during the Republican time, reflecting the importance to them of being elderly. These two pieces of art are very different in material, the portrait being a painting and the Roman patrician being a marble bust, but they are very similar in theme and function.
Quite specifically, the use of the bust in the Roman house, similar to the use of the portrait in
The Korean
the Korean
dynasties,
dynasty,
yes.
the how they placed them in the house to worship, and how
Yes, and
the
sort
Romans
of,
used
sort of both pieces are commemorated. They're used. They're kept. They're commemoration of a certain figure, a certain senator, a certain political member.
and the Romans would display them as if they were like family members or deceased
Yes.
family members, they would use
In
them to
relation
remember
to,
them, very similar to the portrait of Sukju.
And in the Sukju, in relation to head of Roman patrician, the Roman patrician shows more of a realistic or sort of more of a canonized view of a person, in that of Sukju is
It's
more of
very
a
realistic.
subtle in the way the face
Yes.
looks with the crow's eyes.
It's very more realistic in the Roman
Roman
style, and
yes.
it's kind of reminiscent of another culture. It has the Greek style.
The Greek
we
style.
know the Romans are very influenced
By
by
the Greek.
Greek style. This is seen by the realism.
The sort of concavity in his face to show wrinkles, to show scorned look as an old man.
These lines and wrinkles reflect the patrician's old age, which go on to reflect his wisdom, very much as how it has reflected the wisdom for Sukju. And even more highlights the importance to these cultures of authority and elders in these cultures. Almost as if you could say these wrinkles are forms of iconography and symbols to show wisdom in people.
The importance of elders, and they had elders as
Their Senate leaders.
as their Senate
Yeah.
leaders, same way as they would respect their elders so much.
In the same way as in Chinese Confucianism.
And onto Korean culture.
Yes.
They both believed in the celebration of wisdom.
And of elderliness.